Are you old enough to say that kids today will never know the magic of Saturday morning cartoons, trips to the video store, and the month of December having countless primetime holiday specials where on some of the nights you had to record a special that was on a channel in one room and then watch another special on a different TV in another room? It was a different time then, where the TV studios catered to us kids, hoping that we would beg our parents for the toy line that matched the cartoon. Christmas was unlike what we know today, featuring shows with classics like Rudolph, Frosty, Snoopy, and then there were others like He-Man, the Smurfs, Fat Albert, and who could forget that Star Wars holiday special? There was one special that stood out from the rest, a bit darker, ignoring the traditional religious themes and introducing us to a villain who despised Christmas. Since its release in 1966, the franchise has spun off 2 musicals, 2 films, 2 video games that have all kept the tradition of Dr. Seuss's classic, The Grinch. But we're about to expand on the lore of the Grinch into a new plateau as we get to see David Howard Thornton transform into the Grinch in a new, soon-to-be holiday horror classic in The Mean One. To prepare you for the burning down of Whoville, here are 5 origins of the Grinch that you may never have,
or probably,
heard of.
Number 5. How the Grinch Stole Christmas is 26 minutes long and was one of the most expensive productions during its time for the length of the special. The special had a budget 4 times larger than A Charlie Brown's Christmas, which released 1 year prior. The budget was $315,000, which equates to almost $2.5 million in today's economy. The special was in production for 14 months, consisted of 15,000 drawings and cells, 250 background layout drawings, 1,200 character layout drawings, 60 musicians working for 8 hours to finish the special. Number 4.
The Grinch was not always green. And in the original story, the Grinch was actually white and black with bits of red and had pink eyes.
How to take care of those pesky memories.
When the Dr. Seuss book was published in 1957, it was largely black and white. Seuss did not want anything to do with bringing his characters to other mediums, but after some coaxing by Chuck Jones, he agreed to allow the Grinch to be made into a TV special. TV networks at this time in the mid-60s were planning to transition from black and white production to full color, and the Grinch was just not going to work despite Dr. Seuss insisting on no changes being made. However, Chuck Jones drew inspiration from his rental card that he would use to visit Dr. Seuss. The color, as he would describe it, was sickly green.
Brilliant!
I'm glad that they changed his color to green.
I mean, black and white with bits of red and pink eyes would be more terrifying.
You think?
Yes. Just why?
I think he would have just kind of been blah on the screen. I think it would have lost impact.
Yeah, probably. Because of, the black and white. Yes, he would have definitely been lost on the screen. And, I mean, when he describes the color as sickly green, that is spot on. Because that is the color of him.
It's like pea soup green that you see in Reagan spitting out of her mouth in The Exorcist.
Yeah, it's gross.
I didn't know this. I always thought the green and red was, well, it's Christmas color. So, yeah, it's obvious to put red and green together. Not because it was his rental card.
Number 3. Almost every beloved character has an origin, and the Grinch is no different. In 1977, 11 years later, the prequel to How the Grinch Stole Christmas premiered on ABC. Halloween is Grinch Night. In Whoville, each Halloween, a sour sweet wind blows and a chain of events causes the Grumps and the Hockencracks to arouse the Grinch into descending upon Whoville to unleash his wrath. The Grinch was now voiced by Hans Conried due to Boris Karloff passing away. Thurl Ravenscroft, who sang on the original special, returned for singing. The special went on to win an Emmy Award for Outstanding Children's Program. Number 2.
The Grinch was voiced by horror legend who some may not know today, Boris Karloff. Having over 200 cinema credits, it wasn't until his 81st film where he would play in a role that would shape an entire genre. 1931's Frankenstein, where Karloff played the monster. He would play Frankenstein 3 times, then Dr. Frankenstein himself. He would also play another iconic Universal monster in The Mummy, and then Dr. Jekyll 20 years later. In total, he would appear in over 50 horror films. Now, Boris Karloff has 2 stars on the Hollywood Walk of Fame for TV and movies. He appeared on numerous radio shows and hosted his own. He also can be accredited with multiple children's records and songs. But his best role was the one that he took upon himself in the Community. Starting in 1940, Karloff would dress as Santa Claus and hand out presents to the ill and disabled children in a Baltimore hospital.
Wow.
Larger than life, very scary, because I've seen him in a couple of Abbott and Costello movies too, where, it's Abbott and Costello meets the killer Boris Karloff. And he was always terrifying, but the guy was genuinely a nice person.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I don't know too much of Boris Karloff besides voicing the older Grinch stuff. And the Grinch's voice was terrifying. He definitely would have scared me.
Yeah, and it's a shame today that you have some people that are coming into horror, and they're coming into it and like this silver age of horror where you have Michael Myers and Freddy Krueger. They don't really appreciate some of these older films, but him, Bela Lugosi, what they did for all of horror is simply amazing. So if you haven't seen those films, you should always go back and take a gander at them.
I mean, let's put it this way. Without these men having been in the horror films that they were in, there would be no more horror. I mean, this is how it started. Yeah,
I look at Boris Karloff as the Kane Hodder of today. That's how it breaks down. You have Boris Karloff, and then you have Kane Hodder. I can't see any other people being that closely related. Like Vincent Price, I also look at Robert Englund in that same category, right? So,
yeah,
definitely amazing man, amazing career.
Number 1. The Grinch is inspired and based on a real person.
Hate, 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 hate. Double hate. Loathe entirely.
And that person is Dr. Seuss himself. In an interview with Redbook, he admitted, "I was brushing my teeth on the morning of the 26th of December when I noted a very Grinchish countenance in the mirror. It was Seuss. Something had gone wrong with Christmas, I realized, or more likely, with me. So I wrote the story about my sour friend, the Grinch, to see if I could rediscover something about Christmas that I'd obviously lost. At the time of writing, his wife suffered with health problems and he had become disenfranchised with the commercialization of Christmas, making him feel very Grinchish. While Dr. Seuss had gone on to say that this was one of the easiest books to write, it did take 3 months to write the ending because he did not know how to redeem the Grinch without sounding like a preacher." So,
now we are going to probably get the best version of the Grinch, the real version of the Grinch, with David Howard Thornton's The Mean One. Let's face it, the Grinch is horror. He's always been horror.
Yeah,
now he gets to have fun and let loose in the horror genre.
Yeah, he gets to actually do the things that I think he was always meant to do.
Oh boy. Let there be blood.
Let's face it, I really think he wanted to rip Cindy Lou Who's head off her shoulders.
I just want to see who will burn. I want to see who will burn.
Okay.
I do.
Not
Just
get too
want-
excited.
The Who's die tonight, right? That's the chant. The
my
Who's
goodness.
die tonight. The Who's die tonight. And it is the quest for 5,000 subscribers, so please drop a
Like, subscribe, and share.
every like and every comment. It takes you probably less than 20 seconds to do it. I challenge you to see that it's going to take you longer. And it helps expand the audience that is watching this video. And when we expand the audience that watches this video, then we get to talk about a lot of cool things that are out there in the independent films. Like The Mean One, right? That's an independent horror film, right? Terrifier, Terrifier 2, Scream Test, Bloody Summer Camp. There are so many great independent horror films out there. So by you helping us expand our audience, we get to shed the light on those independent artists that are out there. Along the way, every video that hits 100 comments, 100 likes, you will win a prize. And when we hit 5,000 subscribers, those who are commenting and liking videos will be entered in the chance to win the spots of Strawberries and Scream cereal, signed by Matthew Lillard and David Arquette. Are you watching The Mean One? Or is the change to the Grinch just a little bit too much and you're like, no.
I mean, he goes from being a clown, which is, you know, Halloweenish, and now he's gonna pick up for Christmas. Hopefully, we could see it on the big screen, but if not, then I will stream it.
And if we know the streaming location by the time this drops, it will be in the description.
Yeah.
So, until the next Pop 5, see ya.
ya.